Well, hello there. It's a bit rainy outside, and wife's complaining she doesn't have a proper spice rack. So, I got two choices. I can go buy one, or I can build one. What do you think? We're going to build one. Now, we got more garbage wood. You see all that up there? That's all press board. And it's got some vinyl on it and stuff, so it's really kind of a hodgepodge. I put together furniture and stuff that's damaged. I chuck and I save the components. As you can see back here, I've got a pile of it. And I got a pile of it up there, and I got a bunch of it back in my wood hole. So, we got to make a decision. So let's see what we can do. We're definitely not going to buy. We're going to build. So let's see. We got a few things here. This is one from a cabinet that didn't make it. It's got some good vinyl on it. The only problem with stuff like this is, like here, these would make decent shelves. Now I got to figure out what to do with these. I got a pretty good idea. We're going to cut them in, set them into this. What we're going to do is probably cut the board off about here. Come in with another complete row of holes like these here for adjustable shelf pins. And then this here will fit in here, but this will be finished. I'm going to end up putting a fascia on it. I do this all the time. You know, just get yourself something fine, or I'll just rip it up and make a new one. See, I have these kind of boards here that I've cut for other projects, and I do this all the time. So I'll take this, and to finish it so it doesn't look god-awful, we'll go ahead and we'll glue it on, and then shoot a few brads in to hold it down, sand it off and stain it to match. And guess what? We got a fairly decent looking shelf. On the back side, at the top, we'll cut in a notch and run a board along the back. Now that'll be the stretcher, and that will drill and mount to the wall. And this whole thing will set on that. There'll be another one at the bottom. And hey, we'll have a shelf. So let's get started. cut it to final size, but not length, just width. Should be good now. Two pieces, identical size, left side, right side. Now we have a piece. This is from a day bed. This was the arm. Really nice piece of real wood. Real wood. It's not pressed wood. Very nice. So now the question is, do I use this as a base? Or do I use it as a top? I know there's a lot of you out there saying, well, where's your plan? It's right here. And that's how I work. That's how I've always worked. And that's how I'll continue to work. Because that's who I am. Alright, so we will go ahead and go search for another piece of wood for the top. Now, as you know, these only have one row of holes. We need 2 rows of holes. So, again, it's just scrap stuff. So what we're going to do is we've drawn a line. Now this hole is 1.5 inches. One of the things, if I was building this out of fresh wood and setting this up myself, I would use a homemade jig that I have. You can buy jigs, but I made this a long time ago so that I could set up a board for different kinds of different ways, different distances, and so forth. But on this occasion, we've already got a row of holes, so we're going to do a second row of holes because you can't put a shelf on one pin. So what we've done is we've cut everything at 1.5 inches, so we'll cut this at 1.5 inches. We've made a line down there. Now what we're doing is basically anal slow work, which is just basically lining up and making a dash at each point. And then what we'll do is go over to the drill press and go ahead and set it up and run these and get our 2 side walls ready for shelves. And again, the whole point here is quick, speedy, and you could measure these. You could measure these and then come and translate that over here if you want it. I prefer it this way. Just remember the type of pencil or marker you're using. If you put this right directly on the line and go straight down, it will not be right. So I always turn mine this way and I line them up with the back edge of that square. That way you're nice and straight to the hole, and then you just make a line. Now we just got to clean the holes up and then do the second piece. Yeah, I'm not drilling 2 down here and 2 up there because that's kind of redundant, just to have holes to match the other side. Doesn't matter. What we basically are doing, sorry, a little close, I get it, is we've got these old boards here, and we're just basically ripping them down on the saw to make these neat little cover plates. And then we take them over here and we apply them to the shelves. Once they dry, we'll go ahead and stain them, just like we did here. This is the same thing. And that takes care of that nasty looking press board. Now, of course, I don't do the sides and I don't do the back. But here we done. We got the 3 shelves ready. All I got to do is stain them, but I need to let them dry first. Once they're stained, then we'll go in, and I haven't drilled the mounting holes yet because I need to go look in there and see how they line up. Trying always to get the stud. It doesn't always work, but I try. So we're going to try and see where that lays before we start drilling holes into that backer. Otherwise, this project is done, and hopefully in the next couple of days we'll get her hung. All right, so today is the day we're going to try and hang this thing. And the wall's kind of tough because this is not this wall is almost 12 inches deep. It's 8 and something insulation, and then 2 on the back and 2 on the front. So there's a wall, and then I built a second wall. The second wall, because it's not really structural, and because I hadn't originally planned on putting a kitchen in here, was set up at 24 on center because it was for drywall and for wall coverings. And I used it as the front part of the insulation package. So hence, I've got a stud here, and I have a stud here, but I have no stud where I need them. So what we're going to do, because this is a shelf, I'm not going to use one of those drive-in ones you can screw in or whatever. I've used them in the past, but I don't have any here on hand that are hard enough, strong enough to hold a shelving unit that could potentially be a lot of weight. It's not gonna, but it could. So what I'm going to use is old-fashioned butterflies. I really hate using these things, but in a pinch, they are what works the best. So you're having to make a hole big enough for this to fit in through the wall. So what I do is I will drill the holes where I want them at in a finer bit, small bit. That way I can set these into it, set the butterfly on it. The hole in the back, we're going to actually have to make it 1/2 inch, 7/16, something like that. So I'm going to use this spade bit. And because when you fold this up, your spade bit, you're going to be shoving it through that hole. Now hopefully all this works. And then I always put in a service one, a maintenance kind of a screw. Let's sleep well at night kind of screw. So right here, we're going to put in a actual screw into the stud. So this shelf will go no place. I have nothing down below because I don't really need it. If I do, all I do is use a angle bracket down here, a small one, and just set another safety screw down here. I'm not going to put it underneath, I'll put it on the shelf, just because it'll be a small one, and I have these little L brackets that'll work. And it'll just kind of be an extra saving, just if anybody's afraid that the thing's going to flop. All right, so we got all this ready to go, so we're going to start measuring and drilling. Again, what we want, we have a 30 1/4 width, so we're 15 1/8, half of 15, 7 1/2. All right, so in the miracle of time, we are done. I'm sorry, we were doing okay there, and I ran out of storage in my camera. So this is the completed unit. What happened is I ended up having to put a brace on it, but I put it down here. I had to use a longer one than what I wanted to use, so. But otherwise, the wife has already filled her up with some of her spices, and we're good to go. This whole thing unfortunately took a little longer than normal, but came out good. It's a little taller than its predecessor over here, just by a smidgen. And then we have our sink and dirty dishes too. So there you go. All I got to do now is put my pictures and all my stuff back up above it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. All right, y'all take care.